welcome you all on the second day of International Virtual Workshop on Research Methods and Research Writing. And I would like to extend my gratitude towards the President of Cape Cameron Trust, Dr. R.S. Regin Silvestre, and of course, the Malaysian Industrial Relation HRA and the Lavender Literary Club for organizing this workshop. So not taking much time, for our first session, we have with us a very renounced educationist, Professor Dr. Muhammad Shahryar Parvez, who will be enlightening us about business research and design for upcoming researchers. Sir has been working as a professor of tourism economics and ethics in the Academy of Culinary and Hospitality Management. He's a renounced academician, a researcher of development economics, an Intel Award winner, Chancellor's Gold Medalist, a motivational speaker, a writer, editor, and an author, and many, many more. He is also the founder and CEO of Independent Perception and Research Hub, Bangladesh, and has a long list of administrative experience. To mention more, he has been the professor and advisor of Bangladesh Tourism Research Institute, an advisor of Bangladesh Tourism Explorers Association, country's director, Euromed Research Business Institute, Cyprus, European Union, associate fellow and reviewer of World Business Institute, and the life member of Asiatic Society Bangladesh, as well as Bangladesh Economic Association. A very, very warm welcome to you, sir, and the session is all yours.
It's my great pleasure, madam, for inviting me this kinds of wonderful session. And I give my gratitude to this organization who actually invited me in this kinds of research workshop, or that is called conference. So I want to share my slides now. So it's visible.
No, sir, we could not see it. Yes, sir, now it is visible.
Okay, fine. I'm just changing my one slide. You just say, madam, that the slide will be changed.
All right. Yeah, it is changed.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So welcoming all this wonderful 3-day international virtual workshop. And the workshop actually on the research method and research writing. So this is MD Shahryar Parvez, already madam told. Actually, basically, I'm a very simple person. But now today's topic, actually, it's not very simple because it's related to the research, and it is related to the business research and design for the upcoming researchers. So those who are actually the MSc students and those who are actually the faculty of the university also work in a corporate world, they might be helped for these kinds of workshop or these kinds of conference. So today's spotlight is actually the business research and design for upcoming researcher. So now the point is here that what is actually research? The research is the process of finding the solution to a problem after a thorough study analysis of the situational facts. So here is the point that the research actually it's a process that actually finding the solution of a problem. So become a researcher, or if you are a PhD student or any kind of research scholar, so what's your main target? Your main target is to find out the problem at first, that what's the fact, then you find out the solution, then it is called the research. So research basically is a research on the discovering on the already those who are research, already those who are studies. So that is called, you can search again, that is called research. So now the point is here that what is business research? Because today's our concern is related to the business research. So business research may be defined as a systematic and objective process of gathering, recording, analyzing data for aiding in making business decision. Here is the main point is here. It is basically needed for aid in making business decision. So if you want to become a researcher, then it is one of your duty to find out that how can you make decision after your research. So is this systematic and objectivity are related to figure out the business research, which is important tools for the managers. So those who are in a corporate person, also in a non-corporate person, you need business research to find out the problem and also make decision according to that problem. Now come to the point, in the business research, the research provide needed information that guide manager to make informed decision to successfully deal with the problems. Here is the call, here the fact is the problem, and the information provided could be the result of careful analyzing of data gathered, and that is related to the available data in your organization or also in your field. Now, in the business research, it is also called that typically business research methods are used in situation of uncertainty. Here is the word, actually the uncertainty. You find out the uncertainty situation according to your research. That is when making decision face two or more course of action and seek action that is best possible alternative under the circumstance. So business research hence aim to improving the quality of decision, which in turn benefits of your organization, and it helps to ensure its continuity and its efficiency. So one of the point is here, research should be continuous and research should be efficient. So that is one of the point for the upcoming researcher. And one of the point is here that typical users of business research. It is related with the business and corporation, also the private sector, public sector agencies, the consulting firm, the research institution, the non-government organization, non-profit organization, and independent researcher. If you are a consultant or independent researcher, then you also make business research under the business area of fields. Here is the types of business research. If you want to try out, find out that what types of business research actually applied, there's number one is applied research. That is to solve the current problem faced by the manager in working area demanding a timely situation. For example, should organization or corporate X, suppose is the name of X, adopt a paperless office environment? It is one kind of applied research. Another one is called the basic research, that is fundamental or pure research, that is to generate a body of knowledge by trying to comprehend how certain problem that occur in organization can be solved. So this is one kind of research is here. So now come to the point, the common business research method and techniques. So if you are a researcher, if you want to become a researcher, if you are a MSc student or PhD student, or if you are a corporate manager, then you must know the techniques of the business research method. There is the survey method, interview method, observation, experimental qualitative and quantitative analysis also involved is here. Here, actually, the main analysis part is here that as a researcher, you must know that what type of research method are actually here. But here in our practical life, we always try to find out that how can we solve according by applying this software by SPSS or SQL or Strata. That is not our main focus point. Our main focus point is how can we understand that what actually our fact, what actually our problem, and how can we minimize this problem through our research. Now come to the point that in the field of research, the fields of where business research that is often used, like in general business condition and corporate research, like in short or long range of forecasting. It is one of the point that forecasting is one of the main method of business research. Another one is business trend analysis, the industry trend analysis. Also in a global climate area, that is global environment analysis. Also inflation or price analysis or acquisition. In a management or organizational part, in a behavioral research, as a manager, you can also analysis on total quality management research, also leadership style research, and you can also apply the organizational climate research. These are also part of a business research. Now come to the point, if you are a person from the financial area or accounting research area, then there are some research related to the forecasting of financial interest rate trends, also stock bond analysis research, capital information research, portfolio analysis research. Those who are actually related in a stock market analysis, they related with the portfolio analysis research, also the capital asset pricing model research, risk research, and cost analysis research. If you are a person of marketing, then you can research under this kind of area, like market potential research, then market share research, that segment of the market research. Then you can also the test marketing research, the pilot research, you can also apply. Also the buyer behavior research. So these all are related to the business research because you are a business research person. So after that, there are some business research are related in this area, that is corporate responsibility research. This is one of the research related to your social value, which is increasing the corporate social value. So you can also apply the corporate philanthropy research in your organization. Another point is here that information system research. In this research method, you can apply the knowledge-based information research like the CKM, CRM. So these are related to the information research system, and also apply the database analysis, then data mining, then customer relationship management research. Another point is come that selected example of real life situation in which the business research method actually are used, like a firm wants to produce or make a new product. That is one kind of research. That is one kind of marketing research. A multinational firm wants to establish a product facility to another country. That is another type of research that if your organization try to move the segment of your business to another country, to move your segment to another country, that is another type of research. If a government agency wants to ascertain the satisfactory level of the employee, that is another types of business research. If financial institution wants to invest in commodities, so that is another kinds of research. And also if the SWOT analysis, that is another kind of business research related in the business area. So if you are a business manager or an upcoming researcher, you must understanding, or at least you must remember that this kind of research actually occurred in the area of the business. Now come to the point that the value of business research for the manager. So actually business research actually gives the benefit to the manager. So it's reduce the uncertainty and improvement in the quality of decision making in several consequence advantages, and also in strategic operation also. So business research method can be employed in each of the following 4 stages, like number 1, identification of the problem. So this is one of the point. Number two, diagnosis and assessment of the problem or opportunities. This is another point. Also, number three, select an implementation of cause of the action, that what's the cause actually after doing this research. And also evaluating the course of action. So business research method are often used after a course of action has been implemented in order to determine that where activities have been properly implemented and have accomplished what they need to do. Now come to the point, the value of the business research for the manager. It is the evaluation of the research, that how can you evaluate your business research in your organization. That is related to the value of the manager. Like there are various kinds of questionnaire here. So as a researcher, you might have this kind of monitoring system in your research project. But if we observe this figure, then when should business research be undertaken? As a researcher, you must understand this figure also, that if sufficient time is available, if yes, then is information adequate? If yes, then high importance or decision is needed? If yes, then research benefit greater than cost? If yes, then you undertake the business research. So it's a diagram. And if it is no, then do not take the business research in your organization or in your field. Because if the research benefit is not greater than the cost, then do not take the business research in your organization. This is one of the theory for the upcoming researcher, that how can you apply this diagram inside your research. Now, the value and cost of undertaking the business research. So here the value is the decreasing the uncertainty, higher likelihood of correct decision, better business performance, higher profit, better reputation. What's the cost? The research cost. Also the possibility of error cost and different kinds of cost or error. So what's the possibility of error? So possibility error is if we apply the business research like the regression analysis, we need the E, that is the error. So that is also our cost. If we see this kind of error occur in our research, that is actually increasing our cost. Now, the building blocks of the research. In a business research, you have these kinds of blocks like data, information, and knowledge. So data, you must measure the phenomena, and also after this data, determining the relationship among the data with a view of facilitating understanding of this phenomena. And also you come to the knowledge, then blend of the information, experience that provide you the total framework of your business blocks. So as a researcher, you must understand the data, information, and knowledge. Now come to the point, the demand on the data and information for your business research. And in the relevance to the problem or situation at hand, must be needed. You need the competency, you need accuracy, you need accessibility, you need affordability. And so these are related, that why this demand of data and information for your business research needed. So these are the situation that you need your accurate data and information for your research analysis. Now come to the point that data information source for business research. So what are the source? You have your internal record inside your organization. Also, you have your preparatory business research, you have business intelligence system, also you have online database system, internet, and other source. So now in a days, you have different kinds of source, like in a Elsevier, in a different kind of journal index. So from this journal index, you can find out many kinds of literature. So that is also provide you some important data for your business research. Now come to the point, the science and the scientific method. So science has been defined that the methodological and systematic approach acquisition for new knowledge. So that is the scientific method. So for a upcoming researcher, you must understand that business research should be applied in a scientific method. Otherwise, it's not possible to find out any kind of result. So this is the essence of scientific method. This is the characteristics of scientific method are objectivity, systematic analysis, logical interpretation, and research. That is the main thing. And also you related the elements of the scientific method, that is empirical approach, also observation, questioning, hypothesis, analysis, conclusion, and replication. So you have the basic research, you have the applied research, and these are the way that how can you apply the scientific method in your research. So in the scientific investigation in business research area, you have these kinds of thing like observation method, you have problem area, identification of the problem area, theoretical framework, hypothesis, research design, data collection, data analysis, interpretation, and implementation. That is the scientific investigation in business research method. Like the 7th step in business research method, that is the most important 7th step, that is observation. At first you observe your problem, then problem identification, that this is the main problem, then theoretical framework, you find out your theoretical framework, and also applying the hypothesizing, then research design, and also logical analysis and deduction. If there is any kind of error, then you deduct your research. Then the problem formulation, here is the problem formulation, that where do research topic come from? So that is one of the point. From where you collect this research topic, the idea for business research project, and also the literature review. These are related to the problem formulation. From this kind of field, you can find out the problem that, yes, this is my research problem, and in this research problem, I am applying my theories, my theoretical framework. So now the area is here that measuring the level of your research. So you have the variable, attribute, value, and relationship under your research, and you have the nominal research, ordinal, interval, and ratio. So these are the way that how can you measuring the level inside your business research. And also you relate it to the research cycle, that in the research cycle you have the questioning plan, you have the planning, gathering, then evaluating, and reporting. So these are the basic idea. We will go slightly deeper on this idea later on. So now come to the point, the business information needs in business research. Like almost every organization has to engage in research at some level to stay competitiveness. Also, companies gather data from within and outside the organization, and the method they are used, the gather, analyze, and synthesize the information to applying the computer technology. Here the computer technology available in our hands, we have different kinds of software for calculating the analysis of the business research. So here the business research process, that how can you process your business research, that is you organize your business research by applying this process: observation, then data gathering, problem identification, theoretical framework, hypothesis, research design, data collection, deduction, research report writing, report presentation, and managerial decision. So these are the points you applied in the business research process. Now come to the point that is called that how can you apply the business research cycle, process cycle. In this process cycle, you have identified a research problem, reviewing the literature, specify the purpose of the research, then collecting the data, then analyzing the information, and reporting and evaluating your research design. So that is one of the points, that how can you find out your research cycle. And in your business research process, you have the outline, that is the business research design. And in this business research design theory, you have the function, you have the essential elements, the key characteristics, and steps of research design. And in the research design, you have the qualitative approach and also the quantitative approach. In the qualitative approach, you have some case study and different kinds of theory you can apply. And in the quantitative approach, you have the experimental research design, action research design, survey research design, then correlation research design. You can also apply it. Now come to the point that in the research design, in a general concept, what is research design. So overall plan or program of a research, that is, as a researcher, you must understand this point, that research design can be defined as a framework of research method and techniques. It is applied by a researcher to incorporate different elements and components of the research in systematic manner within a view to operate the research problem efficiently. So this is the way that this is called the research design. Now, the key point needs to speed up the part. So what is about the study? Why this study being made? Where will be study carry out? What type of data required? Where can the required data is should be found? Then what will be the sample size? Then how will the data be analyzed? So as a researcher, you must question yourself before you go any kind of research, before you are involving any kind of research. So this is the way that how can you questioning yourself before you involve, before you making your research design. Now, the function of the research design, number one, the research design provide you the blueprint of the researcher. Like, for example, what the research is about, what kind of data required to resolve the research question, where to collect the required data and information, study area, time, and so on. As a researcher, you must question yourself before you start your research. Also, the research design determining the outline of the research work, that these are my work, outline of my research work. Also, the research design help a researcher to solve many shortcomings before you start the study. Also, here the essential elements of research design. Here the accurate purpose of the statement, then techniques of implement for collecting and analyzing the data, the method applied of analyzing the data, also types of research methodology, then probable objection of the research, also setting the research study, and also your timeline. So timeline is one of the main task for a MSc student or PhD student, for the research scholar, that this is my timeline, and within this timeline I will complete my research project. Then how do we create a research design? Then creating a research design, making the decision, then overall aim and approaches, the types of research design you will use, and how you will select the participants of subject and data collection method also, and the procedure you will follow to collect the data, and data analyzing strategies. These are also related with your business research. So this is the characteristics of research design. Then your design should be natural, reliability, validity, and generalization. So these are the questions you must ask yourself before you start your research design. Now, the steps in research design. In a steps in research design, you have 6 steps, like consideration, the aims and approach, that yes, this is the aim, this is my aim, and this is the approach I should apply in my research. Number 2, chose a type of research design, that yes, this type of research design I will apply in my business research. Then identify the population and sampling method also. So if you want to try to work out on full population, the overall population, or you are trying to sampling from this population, so you must be choose that, identify that yes, this is my population and this is my sampling technique. Then you should apply the data collection method. Also, you plan the data collection procedure. Also, decide on the data analysis. So now, step number 1, consider your aim and approach. So these are the way that you must understand that yes, before you can start your research designing your research, you should already have a clear idea of research question you have. So information, observation, practical, the problem, and previous research experience. These are related to the consideration of your aims. Then you come to the number 2, choose the types of research design. So these are the way it can be broadly categorized into the 3 types, that you can apply the exploratory research, or explanatory research, or descriptive research. So what types of research design actually you should choose for your research design? Then you are applying the descriptive research also, and also you can apply the exploratory research also and explanatory research also, because you are a MSc student or you are the PhD research scholar or upcoming researcher. So it is a very short time. So I think you should read more and more about this thing in different kinds of literature before you start your research. Now come to the type of research design actually related with the quantitative research design, qualitative design research design, and also the mixed method that is related with the quantitative and qualitative, that is called the mixed method of research design. So what type of research you want to conduct, it is depends on your research type. Then you come to the identify the population and sampling method, that this is our population and this is our sampling. So there are different kinds of method actually now exist in our research area. So you can easily apply that, yes, my research actually doing this kind of population. I am doing my sampling method by applying these types of method is here. So here the population, here the sample, that advertisement for IT jobs in the suppose job in the India, the top 50 research that result for the advertisement for IT job in India May 1, 2020. So that is the sampling technique, that from the whole IT job you only select the 50 search. So that is called the how can you select your sampling from population to your sampling method. Now come to the point that under this probability, in the sampling method, you have the probability sampling, also the non-probability sampling method also you have here. In the probability sampling method is the most scientifically valid option, but it is often difficult to achieve unless you are dealing with a very small and accessible population. So for that reason, for many research study, they are using the non-probability sampling method. So you can also apply the non-probability sampling method in your research area. So in the probability sampling method, there are many types of probability sampling method. Are the sampling, random sampling, then stratified sampling, cluster sampling, and multi-stage sampling. Also in the non-probability sampling, you have volunteer sampling and convenience method also you can apply in your research style. Now that the data collection area, you have different types of data collection type, like the forms and questionnaire, from interview, from observation, from group discussion, from social media monitoring, online tracking. Then that is the combination of your research, then oral data collection. You can collect data from various kinds of method from the research area. So here is the style that you can apply the survey, you can apply the interview, focus group discussion, observation. You have some advantage, and this advantage also is here. So I think our time is not so much. I have very limited time, so it's not possible to give you the so much elaboration about this matter, because we have various slides now also is here. So now the other methods of data collection in a field, you have the media and communication. This is one kind of way of data collection, like you collect a sample of text, like a speech, articles from social media, also psychological tests, also education for assessment, the knowledge-based data collection, also physical science. You can applying the data collection from the weight, blood pressure. It depends on your nature of your business, nature of your research, and what type of research actually you will conduct. Now come to the point that data collection plan, it is very important, because in a data collection plan you identify the question that you want to answer. This is one of the point. Another number two is determine the kind of data that is available. So what type of data is available, you must collect that data at first. Then determine how much data is needed. Then determine how to measure your data, and decide who is going to data collection for your data collection. So who are actually collect the data. Then determining from where the data will be collected, and decide where it measure a sample or whole population, and determine what format or data collection will be displayed. So these are the way that how can you collect your data. And this is one sheet, that data collection plan. So under this data collection plan, you have your project name and also your project manager. So you should have your project supervisor also. So who, what, when, why, how, and other. So this is one of the type of data collection plan, that is responsible, who actually responsible, then what type of data you should be collect, then when you collect the data, then time, data and time, then why. This is the question, that why you collect this data and how you can record it and collection the data, and also the comments is also here. So now in a step number 5, the data collection procedure, you can apply different kinds of procedure under the data collection, because the number 1 measurement technique is reliable and validity. So you do not have reliability and validity under your on your data, that is not possible for an accurate result, to find out the accurate result. So I, as an upcoming researcher, this is one important factor for you, that what type of research you should conduct and what type of data actually you should be collect in your research. There should be reliability, present the reliability, also that data should present the validity. Now come to the point, under the reliability and validity, does your measure capture the same concept, and do your measure material test all except of the concept? That is the main difference between the reliability and validity of your data. So as a researcher, you must understand the reliability and validity before you collect your data collection procedure. So these are the observation. Also, you have some hypothesis related in your variability, then also your hypothesis, regression analysis, and correlation test, statistical testers here. Here is the, I'm just deciding, I'm just say one thing, that you are not concerned about the statistical test, because now in today's world we have different kinds of software in our hand. So you must concern about the technique, about the design, about the method, that how you will conduct this research. Because if you just set your theoretical framework and also you collect the data, then it is not impossible for you to try your data applying the different kinds of software around us, like SPSS or Strata or PLS. You can apply it easily. So that is one of the points for the business researcher. Now, here is the type of analysis, that in the descriptive, what is happening, the diagnosis, why it is happening, then procedure, what is kind to be happen, and perspective, what do I need to do. So this is the way to find out the value and the complexity of your research. Now come to the research design. So in the research design, we already say briefly, now it is the broadly sense, that the purpose of the study, exploratory study, descriptive study, hypothesis testing, and case study. This is the way. And also in the measurement technique, you have the rating scale. So you have the Rankin scale also is here. We already observed the rating scale. In the ranking scale, in the rating scale, you can also apply the Likert scale. So here is the here said the 5-point Likert scale, but now here already we have 7-point and also 9-point Likert scale already applied nowadays in the rating scale method. In the ranking scale, so you can rank between 2 or more objective, and also measuring the reliability and validity of your data. Now come to the point, in the data collection method, data can be collected in varieties of way, and data sources must be primary or secondary. Data collection method is different kinds of data collection method actually are involved here. We already observe it. And come to the point that in a sampling technique, in a sampling, a sample is a subset of a population. It is a very important part, and sampling is the process of selecting a sufficient number of elements from the population. So as a researcher, you need to find out the sampling technique before you start your research, because if your population is so much big, then do not go for the whole population, go for the sampling method. Now, data analysis and interpretation, yes, it is very much important for a researcher, upcoming researcher, because you need to clear and organizing the data for analyzing and also describing the data. It is the descriptive statistics, also inferential statistics related in the hypothesis testing, and if you have any kinds of modeling technique in your research design. In a descriptive research design, you have some central tendency measurement, and inferential research design, you have the t-test analysis, ANOVA testing, then you have the correlation, regression analysis. So that is related with the statistical thing. Like if suppose if you are not well in the statistics, then I think as a researcher, at first you collect your data, then you should concern with a statistical expert man, and he or she will help you. That expert will help you that how can you design your logical framework before you applying your statistical data in the software. So this is one of my suggestions for you. And in a statistical method, we have the central tendency method, like the nominal, then ordinal, interval ratio, like mode, median. These are related with the statistical tools. Now, the research report, yes, it is one of the important factors for the upcoming researcher, the research proposal, research report, and research presentation. So under the research report, yes, you have this kind of thing should be here, that abstract, introduction, literature review, method, result, decision, conclusion. So as a researcher, you must have this kind of point inside your research report. Otherwise, this research report will not be accepted by any project or any supervisor. So one of the point there, basically there are lots of pointers here. One of the important point is literature review. So literature review actually conducting to ensure a researcher is familiar with all of what is known about a particular field. It is one of the important factors, because many of the researchers do not know where from collecting the literature review and how can you collect, how can you analyze the literature review. I think you should go for literature review in the Elsevier index and also applying the Mendeley. So also, you can go for the Scopus index, and different kinds of index are here. And also, you can go for the Emerald Publisher. That is also index are here. And also go for, I think the ResearchGate is one of the free, because many of the journals actually charge taking the charge. So as an upcoming researcher, you have no money in your pocket, but you are trying to become a researcher in your field. So you just searching your literature review in a free resource where the researcher actually giving this kind of journal in free way. So the form of literature review, it is required reading literature from variety of source and form a taxonomy or a structure for your review. It is one of the important factors. As a researcher, you must understand the taxonomy of the literature review. So without understand the taxonomy, it's not possible to find out the pinpoint of your literature review. Like this is one of the literature review example. This is one of the abstract. Yeah, this is the referencing method. Now, this is the rational thing, that yes, recent gain. So this is called the rational thing. So from the literature review, you must understand that yes, this is my rational thing, and at first I must analyze the rational thing inside the literature review. Then scope of the review. Why? What is the scope of the reviewer here? So this is the scope of the review. So at first you find out the rationality, and then you find out the scope of the review, and also then after that you find out the indication of taxonomy. Yes, this is the taxonomy, that these words actually related with my research, because they form different kinds of journal. What type of actually quote actually you collect from this, that's a lots of journal. The main point is indication is the taxonomy. Yes, this is the taxonomy, these are the words related to my research. So you collect this taxonomy from the literature review. Then come to the point that the positivity research method includes the descriptive research and experimental research. Also the questionnaire design method also is related here. So under this questionnaire design method, you have planning, a logical questionnaire design, then layout the issue, then form of question, and these are the related important factor like planning and logistic of questionnaire design, that qualitative or quantitative question, then legal requirement, then sample size, then volunteer of the respondent, then identify the subject area, then typical time scale, then main component of the questionnaire. So these are the way that how can you valuing your planning your questionnaire design before you start your questionnaire planning. Now this is the forms of question, that open-ended or close-ended question, then scale measure question, then midpoint or not midpoint question, then ranking the show preference question. So as a researcher, it is depends on your research that what type of questionnaire actually you will apply in your research. Like in a research question, you have the quantitative analysis. In quantitative study required, that is the state research question non-objective. For example, how do students use program development tools? So this is one of the question. Like in the characteristics of quantitative research, it takes place in a natural setting using multiple methods, and also these are the researcher value the social phenomena historically. The researcher use the complex reasoning, that is multi-phased, and researcher adapt and use one or more strategies of inquiries. Now come to the point that research proposal design. If you just find out this, that we need title page, abstract, body, introduction, method, sample, measuring, design, procedure, result, conclusion, reference, table, figures, and appendix. So these are the page actually mentioning here, but you can easily elaborate your page. That's not the main measure, but always try to be compressed, be specific. If you are a good researcher, then your research, your journal or your article should be in a 12, not more than 10 to 12 pages. But if you want to, if you are a MSc student or PhD research student, then your research should be 100 or 200 pages, because you at that time you are a researcher, you are a thesis at that time. So your research should be more elaborated on this kind of field. Now the question is here that how can you solve business problem? Why do you need to know to write the research proposal? Do you understand the research process? Do you know why do you have identified problem statement clearly before doing your research? Do you know why sampling and statistics are important to the research result? Why do you have to identify the limitation of the study, and why the research report present are important, and why do you know how apply the step of research process? Here one point I should mention, that is the limitation of your study. It is very much important for a good researcher to give the limitation of your study before the conclusion, or you must need to analyze the research gap. So after your literature review, that will give more emphasis, then that will give you more powerful research tools that the journals, if you apply, if you submit your article to any kind of good journal, like the high impact factor journal, then these things are very much important. The reviewer actually reviewed that yes, this research article have the literature gap, this research article have the limitation of the paper, then this will be more valued paper for publication. So now come to the point that this is one exercise, that if you want to set up a coffee shop near the university or school, what is your research topic? So this is a main thing that you should try to identify, that what's the research topic. This is one problem to set up a coffee shop. Then identify the problem statement, that yes, from this area we identify the problem statement. Then identify the objective of my research, that yes, this is my objective of my business research. Then identify the hypothesis. You identify the null hypothesis, hypothesis 1, 2, 3. So this is one of your way to collect the hypothesis. You apply the research methodology, that this is my research methodology, in this way I can apply in my research. And also you can apply the sample of the question. So this is all about my presentation. So if you want it, then you cannot do it. Don't say I cannot do it. You must say I can do it, because research is not a very simple thing. It's a very critical thing so far. So as a researcher, become a researcher, you must understand that this is my path, and in this way I will run in my research. Otherwise it's not possible to capture this area. And you should be always read different kinds of journal article each and every moment. So thank you for your being attention. If you want to contact with me, this is my contact number, and this is my YouTube and also my Facebook and LinkedIn number. Just scan it. You will find me anytime and contact with me anytime. This will be my pleasure if you have any kind of question. Thank you so much.
What an extensive presentation, sir. Congratulations to you for this. And now the session is
it's
open.
My pleasure, madam.
Now the house is open for queries. Anybody's having any kind of question, feel free to ask. Anyone?
No, ma'am.
Very, very good evening. You can ask your question. Feel free. Please unmute your mic and ask your query. I think there is some internet connection problem there. Anyone else? Anyone interested in asking something?
So far, madam, I'm just saying one thing, that actually those who are attend in these kinds of conference, they have lots of questions in their mind, because these are very compact. These are very compact things. And I think if you have any kind of question, you just email to madam or email to me. No hesitation. We will give your answer anytime, any moment, because I am a very friendly person, and I want to always share my knowledge with you. That's and I am very much glad that the organization inviting me this kind of very fruitful conference. Thank you.
Please feel free to ask questions to sir. Anyone?
Actually, good evening.
Very good evening, ma'am.
Ma'am, this is Kairali from Madurai, Tamil Nadu.
All right.
Actually, the SARS presentation is very clear, so we have no doubt to ask.
That's a plus point for you, sir.
That's my pleasure also, madam.
Yeah, it was a very extensive presentation, around 100 slides. I could see that. And that is congratulations to you for that. Anyone who wants to ask anything? Anyone from you? I think they have no questions in their mind, sir. Anyways, I must thank you, sir, for elaborately explaining the concept of research and especially the relevance of business research in corporate world, when and how it should be used, who are the users of it, the types of business research, such as the applied research, basic research, the methods, tools, and techniques of research, the concept of corporate social responsibility, which is very much important these days, the value of business research for the managers, when it should be undertaken, what is its value and cost, data and information for business research, the characteristic and objectives of scientific research, scientific investigation of business research, and so many important sources you have told, right? The ResearchGate and Scopus, Emerald International, the relevance of literature review, which is the base of any kind of research, and its scope, indication of taxonomy, and so many more things. It's my heartfelt gratitude towards you for being so informative and giving an extensive view about it. Yes, Haruna, you must be having some question. Haruna, you want to ask a
Yes,
question?
yes,
Ask.
yes, please. Yes. Good evening. My name is Ibrahim Haruna from Ghana. Thank you for your extensive presentation and very meticulous. My question to you is: in the 21st century, now, businesses could thrive or fail, largely dependent on client satisfaction. With your experience in business research, if a company wants to conduct a client satisfaction survey, what parameters should that company take into consideration? For example, is if the type of company is in the healthcare sector. The reason why I asked this is that in the course of a presentation, you made mention of a rating scale and a ranking scale, where you made mention of a five rating scale or 7 rating scale, or even up to up to 7 to 9, between 7 and 9 rating scale or ranking scale. So how should a company, if that company is a healthcare facility, a healthcare industry that deals in logistics, or that company only deals with client services, how should we approach in the 21st century?
Okay, dear Harun, thank you for your question, and it is a very much important question for a health sector after this COVID era. And actually, it is depends on, at first, it is depends on the researcher, that what they have, so what the resource they have, because it's not a way that if I say yes, you can apply the 5 scale 5-point Likert scale or 7-point Likert scale. So at first you should know that this is my resource. So if your resource is enough, because research, actually business research related with the cost, and if the research is not getting the benefit of the cost, then you should not take that research. So in this 21st century, you must understand that it is a competitive era. So it is a marketing field. Like if you want to know the customer satisfaction in a health sector, then at first it is a marketing side. So satisfaction, customer related, so related satisfaction is here. So you can apply, at first you try to apply the 5 scale, right? Likert scale is a very simple way. But if you want to apply the 7 scale or 9 scale Likert point scale, then you must understand that yes, this is my research resource. And before that, if you want to apply it in a questionnaire design, then how many questions you should ask your respondent? That is the main factor. So what are the part of the satisfaction level. So you must analyze it, you must review the literature that before, if this kind of research actually occurred in before, then you can easily find out, the process that yes, this is the way and this is the process already, this kind of research actually done in this area, then you can easily apply this thing under your research project. Otherwise, I think you should, because different countries have different prospect. So different health related issues are exist in different areas. So I think in your country, I don't know. So in your suppose in our country, if this kind of research will be conduct, then at first the business research, suppose the hospital management securities, the management corporate person actually apply this research before they are taking the pilot survey of the respondent. Like, who are the respondent? The patient are the respondent. Who actually gain the customer satisfaction? The patient actually gain the customer satisfaction. So I think at first you apply the 5 scale, like a point scale. Then if you have enough resource inside your hand, then you can apply the 7 scale or 9 scale. Otherwise, I think it will be not a good decision to capture to apply the 9 scale or 7 scale at first. At the primary stage of your research, if you are a primary researcher.
Thank you very much for your answer. The follow-up question, your answer well explained and understood. Assuming I'm a company, ideally, as a business researcher with your experience, how often should a company conduct client satisfaction survey to boost the confidence of its customers and to get what do you call them, product output?
Okay, so you want to know about the product output. It is that how much your product will give you the input and output system. I'm not clear of your question. Please, can you again, please?
Yeah. So my question is that, assuming I'm a company, I am a healthcare company, a hospital, or any logistic health company, how often should I conduct a client satisfaction survey? How often should I conduct a client satisfaction survey to increase my output?
Yes,
in order to satisfy my clients.
Yes, I understand. So actually, it is related also your resource also. Because if you have a 5 years plan, basically we have the short term, medium term, and long term plan. So how often you will conduct this research? Actually, the customer satisfaction. So if your plan is for 5 years, then after 5 years, you will conduct this research. If you have the short-term research plan, then you can conduct it in every year. So it is depends on the competitive area. If you're in your country, if you have a lots of hospitals are there, then if the hospitals want to ensure the total quality management, then if they want to manage the customer satisfaction in a high level, then they will conduct this research each and every year if they have enough resources. But if you have a project plan that yes, we have this project plan for 3 years, so after 3 years you will again conduct it. So again, it is depends on your resource at your hand. Otherwise, it will not be conducting the research, because research takes many costs. So as a business person, as a corporate person in a business research, this is one of the point. If you are a researcher, must convince your corporate manager that yes, our research is give us the benefit more than our cost. Otherwise, they will not approve or sanction your research that is called funding. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much for your answer. Thank you.